So tell me when we are on air. Telling you. At the back, so I can comment on that when you stop talking and you let me speak, and maybe I can say something about that. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we should be live any minute now. So, hello everybody, and welcome along once again to the NORL F1 2017 Championship. We are here for round 18, Mexico here, coming at you today. And for once, I'm joined by someone else in the commentary booth for the first time in a long time in this series, actually since Monaco was the last time I had someone in the booth with me, and it's no other than the founder of NORL and previous Renault racer himself, Valeria Campagnari. How are you doing, Val?
Hi Toby, hi. It's a great pleasure to be here commentating with you, and yeah, it's quite a different scenario for me tonight. You know, I've always been used to driving those cars, being there on the track with these guys, but yeah, you know, it has been a tough season for me. Didn't manage to practice as much as I wanted to. Wasn't enjoying really much, always being at the back, to be honest. And so I said, okay, let's try to do something different. Why keep on wasting a seat and being there on the track? So I just want to try something different, being here with you. And of course, we're gonna be treated with a great event today, and it will be great to be here in the booth commentating with you, Toby.
That's good to hear. You're going to be the Val Secchi to my F2 commentator. So,
yeah.
Well, taking a look around the track now, Nibbler coming up to start his lap. Norfolk Blue has just started a lap as well. We've got several cars out on track doing their laps. Coming into this, I believe the man himself will be able to tell us this, if there is any penalties or anything of the sort to be looking out for today, Valeria.
We have KLC driving for Williams. He has got a qualifying ban for the incident he had in Suzuka. He missed last race in the United States, so he will be serving his qualifying ban today.
So KLC picks up a qualifying ban then for his actions the race beforehand, because he did not attend the last one. Ragnar is another driver who was lucky, in my opinion, to escape a penalty for his turn one instances, but he's not the sole driver. Kevin Jacobs, sorry, is the sole driver out on the super soft tyres at the moment. KB Killerzone sets the provisional fastest time by just 2,000th of a second of Ollie Flavel. We're hoping to see a bit more of Ollie. The last time we saw him was mainly in Suzuka, where unfortunately he had to disconnect towards the end of the session, so we'll have to see what he can bring up. Of course, as always, everybody, you are free to ask your questions in the live chat, and me and Valeria this time will do our best to answer them and have them read out on the stream for you. But it's first blood to KB Killerzone. Let's just talk about the season as a whole, Valeria. It's been an incredible season with a lot of drivers looking like the pecking order has changed multiple times. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. Just see if we can find it quickly. It's nothing too important. But we've had a lot of drivers that started off with Maverick and Norfolk looking like they were going to be the ones to beat. Then we had KB Killerzone. And now we've got an even new breed, Valeria, with the likes of Ollie Flavel and Blizzard 53.
Definitely, Toby. It has been one of the most thrilling season in the recent years. We started obviously NORL back in 2010, and we had many good seasons, many competitive drivers joining, and but this year it has been absolutely amazing. We had so many drivers able to fight at the top, so many leading the championship, so many leading the championship, changing from race to race, and yeah, we got many drivers winning races. We have no idea who's gonna win today, and this is gonna be the case for the future races as well. So this is really something to look at. It's gonna be a thrilling race today once again.
Yeah, Blizzard 53 just set the new provisional fastest lap time by absolutely no time at all. One thing that we would just want to talk about real quick, Valeria, while you were speaking there, KB Killerzone down the front start finish straight was actually trying to get slipstream off Dafiv to start a new lap. In doing that, he seems to have miscommunicated with Dafiv as Dafiv has pulled more and more off the racing line to get out of KB Killerzone's way, he's then let off the throttle, and in a similar style to Schumacher and Coulthard in Spa all those years ago, KB Killerzone's actually hit the rear of Dafiv and lost a big chunk of his front wing, so I think he's going to have to pit and get that repaired. But he had a very nice tow going into turn one, and that's ruined just by a little bit of miscommunication. Of course, these guys don't really have any way to speak to each other, so you've just got to guess. And I guess Dafiv thought he needed to get out of the way, and KB Killerzone didn't expect him to let off the throttle like he did. And it's a mistake that has definitely cost KB Killerzone. I don't think it'll be much of a steward's investigation, because Dafiv, of course, hasn't taken any damage from that whatsoever. He's just continued on his way. But KB Killerzone, a victim of his own mistake, Valeria.
Yeah, definitely. I can tell you, KB venting his frustration in the chat actually, and he's gonna do another lap. I believe he has time to go out if the mechanics can fix his car in time. Because he is definitely one of the contenders for pole position. Of course, he's leading the championship. This could be a crucial race for his title charge, so he will be desperate to go out on track again.
Yeah, of course, he's got 4.5 minutes until the qualifying time slams shut. We just rode on board actually with Norfolk Blue there, and on his very, very slow cool-down lap, he's actually had a huge lock-up. I'm not sure how you've managed to lock up in 8th gear doing 70 miles an hour Norfolk, but that's none of my business. Taking a look at the drivers yet to do a lap time, we have Anil Tanovich, JD7, KLC serving his ban, Galactical 2, and Francis Jessica, all yet to set a time. They're leaving it quite late. JD7 is one to watch because he could easily take pole position here today. He'll be up there with Blizzard, KB Killerzone, Ollie Flavel, and Cliffy. I'm sure a very fast top four, front two rows, looking very competitive. Just over 1/10 of a second, Val, covering the top four with the likes of Maverick, Cal, and Jay Spencer just 2/10 behind them. So I'm sure you'll be very excited to be in the comms box today, because just over 2/10 of a second are currently separating your top six.
I'm sure we're gonna be on fire in this race today, and yeah, it's exactly what I was saying before. I mean, this season we have so many competitive drivers. Every qualifying session, every race, it's an unknown territory. You know, we can never predict who is gonna be on top. We got something like 5 or 6 different drivers winning races this season, and yeah, it's gonna be another great day of racing, definitely.
Yeah, for sure, and of course, a very, very steep turn one. That's a turn two as well, even. There's just a small, slow chicane complex is going to fan a lot of cars out, and a lot of cars are going to have to go from being in like 3-4 wide situations into single file very, very quickly, and that's a cause for a lot of drama, because when a corner decreases its radius at such a high rate of speed like that, it can cause just one misjudgment of your braking. Can really ruin your race and a lot of others' race. Speaking of which, Ragnar did something very similar and had a lot of contact in Kota. It seems the stewards have been a bit lenient on him, let him get away with it, but it just shows how cautious he's got to be. That was in the rain as well, so maybe that was a factor in that one, but a few drivers I've spoke to are quite surprised that he's out here doing qualifying at the moment, but he's not doing the best, as he's currently second last of the guys that have set lap times, and it's KB Killerzone out on another lap as well, and I believe Blizzard is out on a warm-up lap, so as is Ollie Flavel, Cliffy out on his out lap as well. Maverick and Callum Spencer are ones to watch though, because they are just 2/10 outside of the pole time on another fast lap. Of course, JD7 actually pitted at the end of his last fast lap, so he abandoned that lap, which is an interesting feat for him. Who's closer to the finish? Is it Maverick or KB Killerzone? It's KB Killerzone is going to be the next one to cross the line, so we're going to ride on board with him through the stadium section. Going to look to get that inside apex, get the outside one there, just to get you a little bit of traction. Going over the track a little bit there. This is a very tricky corner, a decreasing radius corner that really likes to get the backhand out. He comes up into the finish line now, and he has set a provisional pole time by a whopping 0.8 of a second, Val, as we have a yellow flag in sector 3.
Wow, I mean, yeah, and he just retired from the session. He definitely thinks this lap is gonna be good enough, and we can agree with that. I mean, that's a blistering lap time, 0.8 quicker than P2 Blizzard. And yeah, just quickly coming back to to the topic you just hit about Ragnar in the United States. I think he was pretty unlucky, because Eddie Breck just maybe 1 second earlier he would have got away scot-free and probably been in the lead without hitting anyone. The thing that saved him was probably the fact that Blizzard, despite being spun off at turn 1, eventually managed to make his way back and win the race, so he didn't complain afterwards. That's, you know, in the rules it clearly said that we will investigate incidents that are being reported with the related footage. We are not just looking into every single incident during the race, otherwise we're gonna spend just months just looking at one race. So basically, yeah, what saved Ragnar is the fact that Blizzard eventually came on to win the race. Oh, and he's now into the wall.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was. Attempted retirement maybe in style, didn't really go his way. Ollie Flavel still out on a lap. An interesting one we've got in the live chat right now is the name of SonicX49 saying he just got off work to watch the race, and he's asking us to have fun in the combox and tell Valeria hello. That is, of course, Zach Swade of SonicX49, who commentated with us in Monaco earlier this season. So Zach's here along for the ride, going to be watching round 18 with us here today, Val, and he sends his regards. So I'm sure you have your first commentating fan already, your commentating debut, and you have your first fan. It must feel pretty good as we come to the end of the session. I mean, it looks like KB Killerzone has cemented that pole position, because Ollie Flavel and Maverick have both backed off on their laps, and it was a mega impressive time to do it. We're not sure if Blizzard would have been able to compete with that time. It looked like he abandoned his lap, then tried to retire, as a lot of the grid is retiring. Chazza is not one to rule out, though, because Chazza actually, Valeria, as we're just about to write the session off, has gone 2 temps quicker in Sector 2 than KB Killerzone as he comes out of the stadium section into the final corner. He will come. Will he have a good enough run, or has he had a little lock-up in the stadium section? Will that cost him? But a pole position time up to the line goes Chazza. And he lost all of that time because he didn't even improve, Val. He stayed 10th. He was 2 temps up on pole through Sector 2 and then made that huge lockup, which dropped him into 10th place. That's a heartbreak. That means he lost at least 2 seconds from that lockup, Val. And I'm sure you know one little mistake can so easily turn out into such a big accident.
Yeah, and that's not looking good for him. He's gonna be desperate to qualify and finish the races ahead of KB Killerzone for sure. He's gonna need to gain point on him. We're running out of time, you know, just 3 races to go before the end of the season. He's the closest competitor for the championship win. He's gonna try everything in the race to beat the cars in front and probably, hopefully, finishing on the podium.
Yeah, we're just going to take the stream into BRB mode on your screens, just as I'm sure many of you know, and we say this every time, is to avoid the copyright claim from the automated FOM system that tracks these videos down and blocks them. We just do this just so you guys don't have to wait about a week for it to get cleared, and you can just watch it straight away on demand. So that's great to see on there. And we have a reigning Mexico, Valeria. This is going to be interesting. One little fact just before we get into the formation lap is actually we had Collie Waffle in the chat saying Nibbler and JD have the quickest times in the speed trap, which is very interesting because that means Nibbler and JD are running very, very low downforce, and it's raining, Valeria, and I'm sure I don't need to tell you what happens in the rain with low downforce.
This track has got pretty much everything. It's got long straight, it's got slow corners, fast corners as well, so you really need to fill the car because you're gonna get through so many different scenarios in one single lap, and the rain will surely spice up things, and it's gonna be very hard for these drivers to navigate safely the first lap and especially the first corner, because I've seen in many test races we did here, we had like a situation with 4 cars abreast on the pit straight, and you know, turn 1 is so narrow and so slow, it's gonna be chaos for sure.
So it's going to be interesting to see because we have, of course, we have a very competitive top 5. Actually, Maverick hit Cliffy at the def there. That's something we missed. So great effort by Maverick to pop past Cliffy, unless that is just a case of Maverick has overtaken Cliffy on this formation lap. That's the kind of the order it shows, is it? in. Norfolk Blue all the way down in 9th. A little bit of a disappointing qualifying session from him. As I was hearing in time trial, he was but 1,000 of a second away from KB Killerzone's time. So again, it seems that the pressure getting to Norfolk a little bit during the qualifying session. And the same can be said for this man, Chazza, 35687 in the background. And yeah, we can see the formation cards going up. In the chat, we have Mark1607 that asks, is Nemesis not joining today? Nemesis is actually with me in the booth, the name of Valeria. So if you hear the name Valeria, it is Nemesis. He's in here for a new challenge. I think he explained it best in his own words at the start of the race, was at the start of qualifying,
exactly.
sorry.
Yeah, that's here I am. Hi Mark, and hi Zach as well. I've been racing against those two guys in the Project Cast League. They're great buds, and yeah, so it's great to have them watching the stream today. And as the car line up on the grid, let's focus on people that are out of position, like Francis Jessica in P18. We got Chazza P10. We got Norfolk, always one of the quickest in the time trial, as you said. Toby's in P9. So many drivers out of position. Is going to be an interesting lap one.
I'm sure it will be. We're just waiting up for Francis Jessica there just to line up in his grid box. He's now completed that. All the drivers are sinking to the grid as we get ready for them 5 red lights to go as soon as Blizzard loads. There we go. So 5 red lights come on then. Here we go for round 18 at Mexico. KB Killerzone on pole. Lights out and away we go. It looked like a pretty delayed reaction from Blizzard, but it looks like he's going to be able to get away with it. He's trying to challenge KB Killerzone in the slipstream. Not going to happen on that one. Only Flavel under a little bit of pressure from Maverick, trying to go up the inside immediately. Maverick looking to go up into P3 straight away. Great effort, and Cliffy sliding around in the background, trying to make that a free abreast situation. Blizzard and KB Killerzone have made contact in turn 1. Causes Blizzard to go a little bit wide. Maverick, the big gainer on this one, because now he's up on the inside of Blizzard, and this could be P5 to P2 for Maverick in just 2 corners. Great effort by the Red Bull driver. He'll now try hunt down KB Killerzone in the background. Ollie Flavel has lost 2 positions in that debacle as well, and we can see Chazza under a little bit of pressure from the Force India. Dafiv, another big gainer on that lap. JD7, a massive gainer. I think I've just seen contact of Anel Tanovic being spun around on the very early opening laps. He will go spinning around. Now I can see Ragnar, Kevin and KLC all banging wheels as they're sort of glued together free abreast. Blizzard goes back up into P2 on Maverick. Maverick tries to defend. Ultimately, no remorse on that one. What a start by Francis Jessica. P18 to P9. That spin would have helped him. JD, another big gainer on that lap. But Valerio, it's an interesting lap one, just as you predicted. And the rain has caused chaos. And it's Anel Tanovic who's been the big loser.
And it's just the beginning, I can tell you. And yeah, as you said, many drivers gaining a lot of position. Francis P9 and Chazza as well, P6. He's desperate to make up ground. It has to overtake the car ahead because he can. Oh man. What was that?
sorry about that, Valeria. Dafiv and Ollie Flavel banging wheels so aggressively that it almost caused Ollie Flavel to have a spin, and that's going to allow Francis Jessica to get the move done. And now he's side by side with Dafiv onto turn 1. This is a battle you don't want to miss, because Ollie Flavel now trying to get on this almost free abreast in the wet coming into turn 1. This is the chaos we predicted. Is there going to be an accident here? Ollie Flavel and Dafiv have been very aggressive, battling against each other. Dafiv looking to the outside, swooping across now. Luckily doesn't get anything chopped off. I think that is JD7 trying to get on the mix as well. He goes at the inside. Now the Sauber's sideways, and he's actually caught it. Francis Jessica caught up in that. Absolute chaos going on, because now KLC is going to have a little bit of a battle, and side by side we can see Norfolk Blue, and I believe Galactic Skull 2 going side by side as well. Ollie Flavel looking to make a move. KLC looking to make a move. Who's going to be latest on the brakes? Is there going to be an accident here? And that's very late on the brakes for Norfolk Blue. He's going to go straight off the track, and Galactic Skull 2 passes him and then bangs into the sister team of the Red Bull. We have Ragnar going side by side there with Seppi, and Kevin Jacobs trying to get involved on that action as well. And I will give the microphone back to Valeria. I do apologise for stealing that, but there's just so much action. And Ollie Flavel, all the way from P3 to P11. It's not been the best of laps, Valeria.
Yeah, we had big gainers, we had big losers, but the race is long. You know, the rain is going to make things even more unpredictable than they usually are. So yeah, good job from our championship leader KB, maintained the lead, and he's now trying to pull away, of course, because he's got very fast drivers behind him. Blizzard and Cliffy especially, they've been winning races in the past weeks, so I'm sure he will keep an eye on his rear view mirrors in the next few laps.
His car was all over the place when we just rode on board. Potential damage for Ollie Flavel. That would not be the further words he would want to hear. We just saw a 4-wide scrap going into the stadium section. That was an interesting battle. Them guys now following each other down the start-finish straight. That is everybody from Nibbler down to Kevin Jacobs involved in that fight right now. Anotanovic has been able to catch this train back up a little bit just thanks to that. It was actually looking like Galactic Skull 2 made a very late move on Nibbler, which kind of choked the whole field up, and everyone had to kind of slow down, get back composed and going once again. So this is the battle. 12th to 18th is your actual main battle right now, because Anotanovic now side by side, actually making it 3 wide, passes Kevin Jacobs and Seppi by going through the middle. Great stuff by Anotanovic. Galactic Skull 2 under pressure from Nibbler once again. Nibbler gets to switch back, now looking to go at the inside in the very tight double right-hander hairpin. Gets the move done on the Toro Rosso. Is he going to hang him out to dry? Because if he does not, but Blue's going to be interested in that. And the Scotsman in an Australian sandwich, not really sure he wants that as he brakes very late, cuts the corner. Is he going to be able to concede that position? Because that would have not given the optimum line. And he's under pressure from Nibbler. Still, the sister team, we have a yellow flag in Sector 2, and that is because that man right there, Ollie Flavel, P3 to dead last on the grid, is in the Wallville area.
Yeah, what a torrid first few laps he had. I mean,
and
he had
he's
it
out.
all, and he's now into the wall, out of the race. And he's crashed quite not on the racing line, but almost. Maybe we could have a safety car. Let's see. It has been a while since we last had a safety car.
Yeah, that to me that looked like a crash out of frustration. I don't know. The stewards will investigate, I'm sure, but it looked like he very much put his own car in the wall there. But his race has gone to absolute tatters. Because he's just gone from 3rd to effectively last. But in the meantime, Blizzard and Cliffy getting a little bit into it. This is a battle for your lead right now. Blizzard under pressure from Cliffy. Cliffy looking to go up the inside. He tried to make the move. What's happened here? Blizzard tried to make the move on KB Killerzone. KB Killerzone forced him out. Like he's got the right to do so. And that allowed Cliffy to just try get in underneath this battle and try get a little involved. Your top 3 are nose to tail right now. Great effort. Cass leading from Ferrari and Williams. Not sure you'll be saying that too much in the real world, but the Haas going a little bit wide, that allowing Blizzard to get the run. And look, the car of the Force India still there as the guys are racing. So the yellow flags are still out, meaning they can't overtake through that section or the stadium section. So Blizzard has to try focus now, try get the very best exit he can to have a go down the start-finish straight. But Blizzard still under immense pressure from Cliffy, and now Maverick's closing up a little bit on this train because of the battle that's going on. Who will have the better run down the start-finish straight? Looks like they've all got pretty similar runs, so I'm not sure we'll be seeing a move into turn 1 this time around. But wow, incredible stuff. Battles all up and down the field, and your top 3 so close together. Blizzard's gaining, but he just doesn't have the room to do it on the brakes. Got to calm down. If you can get a good exit, if you can get a better exit than KB Killzone, a move into about turn 4 or turn 5 is going to be easy to make on that. But actually saying that, it looked like Cliffy got the better exit out of the two of them, so he could be under pressure a little bit more from Cliffy. We'll have to see. The top 3 coming into turn 4 right about now. 2/10 of a second separating the top 2 and 3/10 of a second separating the top 3, and it looks like everything's calm and we are having a ceasefire on the overtakes for the moment, as they're still trying to clear that Ollie Flavel's Force India. The yellow flag's still out, so the only real move that these guys can make is into Sector 1, and that's causing a lot of problems for Blizzard Valeria, because it looks like Blizzard is actually faster through Sector 2 and is eyeing up a move into that section, but Ollie Flavel's car's still there.
Yeah, that's pretty odd. I mean, the car should either disappear or we should get a safety car deployed. I don't get why the car is still there. Marshall are not moving it away, no safety car, nothing. That's pretty strange, because obviously it takes away one of the overtaking spots. Going into the stadium, braking hard, you could make a move there, and now you just cannot. And yeah, about this battle for the top 3 position, just having a quick look at the lap times. At the moment, Cliffy looks like to be the fastest. Oh yeah, KB just set the purple lap, so I was just about to say that the car in P3 was faster than the car in P2, and the car in P2 was faster than the car in P1. So basically KB is doing a really good job to keep the car behind, because he's probably just a tiny bit slower than the 2 cars behind him. But you know, his racecraft is great, so he's managing to defend his position.
Yeah, JD7 and KLC doing battle into turn 1 and the turn 2 complex. Look like JD tried to go around the outside. KLC not interested in that one whatsoever. Slams the door in his face. Callum J. Spencer picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Look how much JD7 closes in on the braking on KLC. Is that going to allow him to overtake as Kevin Jacobs gets a penalty now as well? It looks like everyone's used up the get out of jail free cards, and as they're trying to do battle, they're trying to find any time on the car in front as they can, but they're doing it illegally and therefore are being punished. But JD7 very much on the offensive on KLC. Another interesting thing, Val, that is forming right now is Chazza, Callum J. Spencer and Maverick are all closing in on each other. JD7 has got sideways through the S-bend. He's lost the rear end, drifted through it, and now he's conceded a position to Francis Jessica. That could have been a lot worse because he almost very nearly overcorrected, and now he goes deep into the stadium section and loses all kinds of time. And this is what we were talking about. He was one of the fastest, if not the fastest, in the speed traps, which signalled he was running such low downforce. And through the S-bend sections, you need a lot of downforce. In the rain, that's multiplied times 10. So he loses a position to Francis Jessica, but he's a very fast driver, and he's still got about 29 laps to go. But he's got to get to work, and he just can't push like the other guys. Val is looking to me what is going on that one.
Well, certainly the grip is not ideal, and those quick corners are, you know, you need to commit very much to those corners. You need to rely on the car, rely on the grip from the tires, from the wings, and certainly with the rain, he lacked that magical grip and ran out of grip, as I said, and just basically straight line at the corners. But he's a very quick driver. He will surely make up ground if he stays committed. If he doesn't do like Ole Flavel, just giving up and crashing out, I'm sure he can still make up some position and score good points.
Great battle going on right now between Ragnar Galactical 2 and Anel Tanovic, almost free abreast, going into the double right-hander hairpin. Great stuff. And this has been Ragnar trying to hunt down Galactical 2 for some time. He finally made the move into about turn 4. Now Galactical 2 under a little bit of pressure. Anel Tanovic, the man who spun around on lap 1, looking to redeem himself a bit later on. Ragnar came from a long way back, made the move, but it was all fair in love and war. And JD7 has retired from the session. And that's a manual retirement. There's no damage on that McLaren. And just as when you were speaking about not giving up, Val, it appears that's happened as we have our first man in the pits. JD7's teammate, actually, in Callum J. Spencer. But just as you were speaking about not giving up, it looks like, unfortunately, that is what has happened. But I'll hand this over to you for this amazing battle that's beginning to form between Galactic Skull 2 and Anel Tanovic, Valeria.
Yeah, that's a shame because, of course, JD is being one of the quickest driver. We lost one of the main protagonists. Callum J. Spencer just coming out of the pit behind the dueling trio, the fighting trio of Ragnar Galactic and Anel Tanovic. But yeah, I believe Norfolk has made a stop as well. He's back in 16th place, quite a huge gap from the car in front of him. So I think he had boxed already. I'm not sure why. Probably had damage from the first lap, but now, yeah, focusing on those three guys, they're fighting really hard. Ragnar is actually in P10, so he's gonna fight really hard for that point. He hasn't been scoring point for a couple of races now, and when I was his teammate, yeah, we were struggling to bring our Renault into the point, so I'm sure he's gonna make his Renault as wide as possible, not to let those guys through.
Three guys battling even harder than that is Blizzard, KB Killzone and Cliffy, as KB Killzone has conceded the lead of the race to Blizzard after a little debate that we just saw on track, where Blizzard was able to get the job done on KB Killzone around the outside. Great move into the double right-hander hairpin, and now he's under a little bit of pressure from Cliffy. So KB Killzone had a bad string of laps that allowed Blizzard to close in on the gap and make the move, and now he's got a battle with Blizzard, and Callum J. Spencer picks up a 5-second stop-go penalty for corner cutting and gaining in position and failing to concede the position once again. KB Killzone in the slipstream of Blizzard. This is going to be it. He's going to try and get the lead back around the outside into turn 4. Trying to go around the outside. They bang wheels. Blizzard forces kbkillazone out wide. Now he has the inside line, but Blizzard has the overrun. He will try hold that on the outside line. Cliffy is absolutely loving this because now Blizzard has the outside line for the double right-hander hairpin, and kbkillazone gets the job done, and a little bit of contact between Blizzard and Cliffy, almost taking each other out. Now Maverick, DC88, is in the frame, very much so. kbkillazone gets the lead back, but it wasn't the cleanest of exchanges I've seen so far this season. They were barging and shoving each other as much as they possibly dare without taking each other out. No love lost. We believe that kbkillazone and Blizzard are very good friends and have raced each other a lot in the past. So this is nothing new to them, but Cliffy is a man they haven't raced each other a lot, and as is Maverick. He's looking to get in on this one, and just shows you how much battling can slow you down, Valeria, because this gap to Maverick was about 4 seconds at one point, and then they started this battle, and Maverick is right there, ready to pick up the pieces.
And that's the case for the guys back in P10, 11 and 12 as well. Callum managed to overtake Anil and is now... Oh my goodness, he tried to make a move on Galactic Skull, basically hit the Toro Rosso, which in turn hit the Renault. But they somehow all survived and now are through the stadium. Let's see if anyone has got wing damage. I think Callum has got front wing damage. Is now let Anil through. Oh, it was on the attack, and now Galactic pits, Callum pits as well. Man, that was shaping up to be a great fight, and I think just Callum maybe misjudged a bit his braking, clipped a little bit the rear wheel of the Toro Rosso, and it all concertinated into each other, and yeah, contact was made.
Yeah, here we go again. Blizzard's taken the lead back in the exact same spot, and now he's got to deal with Cliffy. kbkillazone's got to deal with Cliffy, trying to go around the outside. He squeezes him out, and the battle for the lead continuing to change. Maverick looking to get involved in this fight as well. And Blizzard determined to win this race. kbkillazone determined to win this race. None of them giving each other any more room than they need to. And now Cliffy looking to try and make a run around the outside potentially, but the stadium section thinks better of it maybe next time around. But now kbkillazone's gone a little bit wide. That's going to allow Cliffy to go around the outside of the stadium hairpin. Surely not. What a move this will be if he can pull it off. Banging wheels the whole time with kbkillazone. Now gets in the inside line. What a move by Cliffy around the outside of the hairpin in the stadium. That's one of the best moves I've seen, if not the best move I've seen all race long. And Cliffy up into P2 under a little bit of pressure now though, because kbkillazone does of course, chucking on my words, of course, have the slipstream to try go around the outside into turn 1 once again. He will have to brake later and harder. Who's going to be the best of the late breakers? It looks like kbkillazone's a little bit later, and he's actually done the move around the outside of turn 1, so very classy move by kbkillazone to counteract Cliffy's great move on himself as well. Now Maverick getting a little bit involved in as well. Looks like he has the slipstream to be able to challenge Cliffy into turn 4 if he so dare. He's going to have to be late on the brakes. No, thinks better of it. Thinks he might just follow these guys for just a little while. And that is all of that said and done for another lap. But yeah, that's such a shame in Callum J. Spencer and Galactic Skull 2 and Ragnar all coming together. We just caught the aftermath of that. We just saw, literally as we switched the camera, we just saw the Toro Rosso skating across the screen and into the wall. So that's heartbreak for all them guys. Damage, I'm sure, will put them pretty far back, and they'll be praying for a safety car to try have a second chance at this race. But in terms of gaps, everything's starting to spread out a little bit more, Valeria, as I'm sure you know. After racing 17 rounds, that seems to happen quite a lot during the middle stage of the race. Everyone's settling in, managing their own tyres and all that stuff. But the main battle we've got on track is your top 4, and now a Mr. Chazza, the man who we know loves doing alternate strategies, doing cheeky undercuts, doing strategy masterclasses to get wins, is now well within undercut range of these guys. As we can see, look how defensive kbkillazone is going against Cliffy. Cliffy's not even that close, so Cliffy definitely feeling the pressure, as we can see all the guys coming through.
Definitely. I was just having some look at the tables. You know, those guys in the top 5 have won 12 out of the 17 races in this season, so we definitely have big names fighting at the top today. Shame JD isn't still there, because otherwise we would have had all our race winners this season fighting for the top position today.
That would have been a very interesting feat we could have had, like our own mini race of champions. That's a shame. Anil Tanovic and Seppi have both pitted on this lap for their scheduled stop, as Seppi in the pit lane right now. We just had another car in the pits too, but I missed that who the last guy was in that trio in the pits. But a lot of guys starting to make their stops round about now. So that means that if anyone is in a position to capitalise on that, I think it's Chazza Valeria, because Chazza will be seeing these cars starting to pit around him. He's got himself within undercut range. These guys are battling hammer and tong at any opportunity they get, with no regards for strategy. They're just going all out at the moment. As you can see, Cliffy got on an excellent run through the hairpin in the stadium once again to get very close. We can actually see Seppi on the timing is just 0.2 of a second behind Galactic Skull 2. So if Valeria would like to keep an eye on that one, that would be pretty interesting to see how that one works out. But we've got to focus on the battle for second right now, because Cliffy very much in the slipstream, very much able to go around the outside into turn 1 if he so dare this time. But looks like KB Killerzone's going to defend that well. Adaptive pits, and the battle kind of came to nothing. But KB Killerzone getting sideways out of turn 1. That'll give Cliffy the opportunity out of turn 3 to get a run into turn 4 and maybe be able to pop a move. He's probably going to have to do it around the outside. Something tells me KB Killerzone won't invite him to the inside line. KB Killerzone, got to be careful not to be caught napping here by Cliffy. Defends very well, but this is where the move for the lead has been done several times. Who gets a better exit? And it is KB Killerzone. So all of that is said and done, and we can hand back to Valeria as everything calms down for another lap.
Yeah, focusing on Seppi fighting Galactic Skull for P14. They banged wheels at turn 6 and went side by side through the S's. Now Seppi in a good position to take the slipstream, but it dropped a bit behind the Toro Rosso. As they went out of the pit, they were really close, fighting each other. And now, yeah, the gap is still very small, so Seppi might make an attack this lap. We should stay on board with him, because this guy is on fire and he wants to overtake the Toro Rosso. You can see him, the aggressive line he's doing. He clearly wants to get by.
Yeah, we're riding on board with Seppi just then. We can see he actually bogged down coming out of that corner, lost a lot of traction, and that's caused him to not be able to attack it to turn 4. Cal J. Spencer, another driver who's known for being pretty handy in the wet, is closing in on this as well, so I'm sure they're about to make that a 3-1 situation. Francis, Jessica and KLC now pit, so the guys in the top 10 are starting to make their pit stops as well. Who will be the first blinker of the top 5 though? That will be the interesting one to look. Oh wow, look how close Seppi's getting through the S-bends. It looks like he's running more downforce than Galactic Skull 2. He's running very low revs in high gears to try and manage them rear tyres from not getting too far out of hand. Seppi goes a little bit wide over the curbing. That forces him on the outside line. A loose grip out there, but he's fine for now. You just see when you ride on board with Seppi, Galactic Skull 2 goes very wide. Is this going to be Seppi trying to go around the outside of the hairpin? Cliffy's done it. Looks like he's lining up a switchback actually, but Colin, aka Galactic Skull 2, defended that very well. And I'm sure Seppi's next opportunity will be into turn 1. Now Colin J. Spencer's in the mix, and as this was your battle, Valeria, I'll allow you to have the honours on this one.
Well, to be honest, I'm focusing now on the battle for second place. Look at Cliffy just got really close to KB Killerton, and Maverick has got into the mix as well. Oh, and they are now through the stadium, almost contact between the two. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I can sense Cliffy's gonna try and move into turn 1. If he can pick up the slipstream from the Haas of KB Killerton, he's just gonna try and make a dive probably. Let's see, because this could be crucial for the race.
Cal J. Spencer made the move around the outside of turn 1 on Seppi on that occasion. Now Galactic Skull 2 has gone very wide, and that's going to be another move on the McLaren. 2 moves in the same sector, so great effort by Cal J. Spencer. He's passed. We said he's handed in the wet. He's proved that once again as he gets back past Galactic Skull 2. I believe, not his teammate from last season, sorry, but these two know each other very well, Cal J. Spencer and Galactic Skull 2. So they can read each other like a book, and that definitely helped him there. But now Seppi gets a run on Galactic Skull 2, looking to go around the outside into the stadium section. I think he's already passed before we get to the braking zone. Galactic Skull 2 brakes very late, very heavy to try get that back. And Galactic Skull 2, in trying to make that late dive, picks up a penalty for cutting that corner that we just saw there. So unfortunate for Galactic Skull 2, but it looks like that battle is pretty much all said and done unless Galactic Skull 2 can do anything into turn 1. Nibbler in the pits now as well. We'll have to see where he comes out. He comes out here just ahead of Cal J. Spencer, and this little battle of Galactic Skull 2 and Seppi heading for turn 1. Not sure Galactic Skull 2 is anywhere close to where he needs to be to make a move into turn 1. Definitely not. thinks about it for another day, and we can focus once again then on Cliffy and KB Killzone, Val.
Yeah, this guy is still in the same position as the lap before, but the fact Cliffy is still there, it means he has the pace, he can fight KB Killzone, he's just waiting for the right opportunity. I've seen KB sliding a bit here and there, so he's probably just trying and wait for a mistake from the Haas driver, but, you know, you don't lead a championship by mistake, so KB definitely know how to drive, and he's not one that makes mistakes.
Oh, so as you said, he picks up a penalty.
He picked up a penalty, yeah. This is not gonna help him. And Francis said the fastest lap. Oh, now KLC purple. Wow, probably the rain is easing up a little bit. Maybe the track is drying up, or maybe the fact they have new intermediate tires is helping.
Yeah, speaking of the right opportunity, as you just mentioned, we were waiting for it to happen. And Chazza has gone for the undercut on the top 5 then. So the man who is pretty handy for these undercuts and these strategy calls, I've actually put him in second in the championship. They're very, very handy for him to have, and he's now deployed this on the top 4 after getting within 2 seconds of Maverick. He's now deployed that. So we'll have to see how much of an undercut effect is present here at Mexico. Not driven too much of Mexico myself, definitely not enough to know how effective an undercut is, so we'll have to wait and see what Chazza can do with that. Cliffy is so much later on the brakes through the stadium hairpin that he's just able to get on the back of KB Killzone, and then now Cliffy pits then. That was Cliffy's best opportunity for a while to overtake, but he abandons it in favour of a pit stop. So Maverick follows him in now as well, so it looks like Chazza once again, Valerio, has got the pit stop timing spot on, and he could just have a crack here.
Yeah, they are trying to cover him. As soon as he pitted, they are pitting the following lap. But yeah, Chazza is a master of the alternate strategy. We do not have alternate strategies today, of course, because we're not running dry tires. But still, he had to try something. And now look at his, as the car rejoining, he has got the position on Maverick, I believe. If he can dare onto the brake and brake very late, he should have the position over the Red Bull. The Red Bull tries, but the Mercedes is ahead. Great strategy call from Chazza.
Yeah, that is a great strategy call times 2, because of course KB Killzone and Blizzard were too far up the circuit, too early on to be able to react on that one. Chazza has got the position away from Maverick at the expense of 1 lap's tyre life. We'll have to see if that can come into play just a little bit later, but Blizzard and KB Killzone have sort of been left out to dry here because they were too far up the circuit to react to Chazza, and therefore they had to do an extra lap. I don't think they were expecting the likes of Cliffy and Maverick to pit immediately, so these guys are driving around on pretty old tyres, 17-lap old tyres, almost halfway through the Grand Prix. So they've got to pit pretty ASAP if they want to counteract Chazza and co. There goes Blizzard. Is KB Killzone going to pit? Yes, he is. And KB Killzone actually closed up on Blizzard a lot into the pit lane, signalling that Blizzard wasn't as confident of getting the speed pit lane limiter perfect as KB Killzone was. These guys doing the pit stops now, then this will be interesting to see how much of an undercut effect could be present here, because Cliffy coming out of the final corner now as they both get released from their box. Cliffy's coming down the start-finish straight. I don't think Chazza will be a threat, but Cliffy very much could, because out comes the pits now on KB Killzone, and Cliffy already passed him. Massive undercut for Cliffy.
Wow.
And he is on the back of Blizzard now, Valeria.
Yeah, that's a great fight. As I told you before the race started, these are the very best drivers on the grid, and an epic fight is shaping up today. Strategy, overtakes, and fastest lap after fastest lap. They're really showing why they belong to the front position. Right now, a man that was used to be at the front is Ragnar back in P13, of course, 2012 champion, and is now being chased by Callum, and he made a mistake in the second sector, turned 4, went wide, almost got overtaken, but managed to defend, and now Callum is desperate to try and overtake Renault because it looks like he's much quicker.
Yeah, he'll have to do it from a long way back if he's going to do it into turn 1. Surely not. Yes, he is. All the way up the inside from a long way back. Fantastic move from the Welshman. Ragnar is a master of late braking. We've seen so many times this season, but not even he could see that coming from the bright orange car in his rear view. Great move by Carl J. Spencer, and he's great for doing that. Actually, a battle going on straight away after that is Anil Tanovic and Nibbler. Nibbler trying to go up the inside to the double right-hander hairpin on Anil Tanovic. Anil Tanovic holding it around the outside. Now it's the racing line. Great defense from Anil Tanovic. But yeah, those are the kind of moves that we wait 19 laps for, Valeria.
Yeah, I mean, the race is spicing up again. The new tires are certainly helping because probably the drivers can feel the car back under control. Maybe when you're at the end of the stint, the tires just do not offer the grip you would expect. The car start to slide and you are not that confident to make a move or to push hard. Now they got new tires, they're full attack back again, and I'm sure we're gonna have good fun in the next few laps.
I concur with you on that one, my friend, because Nibbler coming out of the final corner is just 0.5 of a second off Anil Tanovic. We might be about to see this battle times 2 because, of course, Nibbler was fastest in the speed trap alongside JD7. So will that allow him down the start-finish straight to have a crack into turn 1 because he's eating up that slipstream. Seppi picks up the penalty, unfortunately for him. But here comes Nibbler. Is he going to make a move similar to Carl J. Spencer? Yes, he is. Nibbler up the inside. It's a bit late. Wow. Super, super close to making contact with Anil Tanovic and spinning him around there. Crazy stuff going on between Anil Tanovic and Nibbler on this couple of battles. Another penalty for Carl J. Spencer will not help his day at all. But I think Nibbler's a little bit too far back to make a move on this one, unless he can set Anil Tanovic up for a move in the next section of corner. We'll soon see, because that will very much become apparent. And unfortunately not for Nibbler. He's going to have to sit down. He tried to make that late dive bomb. Anil Tanovic, unlike Ragnar, wasn't prepared to be caught napping. Another fastest lap for KB Killerzone as he tries to catch down second place. But Anil Tanovic was wide awake on that one. And even though he is in recovery, we wished him a speedy recovery a few weeks back. He's still... Oh, look at the tandem drifting through the S-bends from Anil Tanovic and Nibbler. That was one of the more impressive things I've seen this season. That is a screenshot of a league if I ever saw one. Tandem drifting in Formula 1 cars is not something you see every day. Into the stadium section we come through the hairpin now. Nibbler trying his utmost to set up. Look at these guys still drifting all over the place, lighting up the rears. This is absolutely incredible to watch on these guys. But now
Sorry
Nibbler...
to interrupt you, Toby, but the leader are coming up to some traffic and Cliff is really, really close to Blizzard. They now have a Sauber and I believe a Toro Rosso just ahead. It's gonna be a moment to keep an eye on. Could decide the race lead.
Copy that. We will turn our attention to that. Keep an eye on the timing because Nibbler and Anil Tanovic swapping positions a good 2-3 times already on each other. I'm sure one of us can keep an eye on that and see. I think Nibbler actually got the move done. We've got a car off there in the form of Seppi trying to get it out of the way as fast as he can. But look how close Nibbler now. We've got a yellow flag now in sector 3. Is that for Seppi letting everybody through? Yes, it is. Okay, so false alarm on that one. Cliffy very close coming out the final corner. Anil Tanovic and Nibbler lighting up the timing with green and red in terms of position gained and lost. I'm sure they're going to hammer and
just made a terrific move on the inside of turn 4, but Nibbler just got past him again. These guys are spending the entire lap fighting each other and swapping position. That's great.
Cliffy super close within, I'd say, a tenth. The timing says 3 tenths, but I disagree. They're coming up on Galactic Skull 2 now. Blizzard actually pulling to the inside, striking a little bit of toe from Galactic Skull 2 to try help him in his defense against Cliffy, and that's actually pulled him another tenth of a second. So great tactic there by Blizzard as Cliffy gets so close on the braking. It looks like Blizzard is a lot less confident. We saw this. Cliffy is very, very confident on the brakes. That's how he caught KB Killerzone a lot of the time. I would wager Cliffy is arguably the best on the grid in terms of late braking at the moment, because he's just been able to brake so late and gain at least 2 or 3 tenths every single time he does it. But it's about halfway. Who do you think, Valeria, is looking like they could take the win today?
It's really hard to tell because the top 6 probably really probably top 7 as well. It's got really strong pace, but of course it's likely to be a matter between the top 3, maybe top 4. If Shazza managed to gain a little bit of time to the leading trio, but yeah, it's gonna be hard. He's got one lap older tires. The top 3 are definitely on fire. Any of them could be the race winner today. And we have seen Cliffy is really good in rainy races. With the wet, is really good. So he's showing that today. Oh wow, he's gonna try a move now.
Sorry to interrupt you as well. Francis,
far,
Jessica, KLC and Maverick going 3 wide down the start-finish straight during that, but it started with Maverick making a move on Francis Jessica. Francis Jessica then came back, and now they're still doing battle. Once again, Maverick gets squeezed out, but we'll hand back over to you. Actually, no, we won't for just a second, because KLC has now got the move done on Maverick. So what happened? Maverick gaining a position on Francis, and now caused him to lose 2 positions to Francis. And KLC contact! Maverick has just rear-ended KLC and lost a huge chunk of front wing. He couldn't slow down in time. Big contact between Maverick and KLC. Luckily for KLC and they will get away with that scot-free. But Maverick, a little bit under pressure, locked up, and has just clouted the rear end of KLC. And that could pay dividends for a chance at the top 5 for Maverick here, Val, because he's lost a front wing end plate, and in the rain, just a tiny bit of aero loss can make such a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, as I said before, those guys has got really strong pace, but fighting each other obviously will not help them closing the gap to the top 3. And so they're gonna say thank you very much and run away with the lead of the race. But Cliffy has just picked up a 3 seconds time penalty, so that and Seppi retired from the race. Actually, is into the barrier actually with a wheel missing.
Yeah, that's a big impact. I'd say it'd be pretty hard pressed to do that by accident. So maybe another potential retirement on that one. But Norfolk Blue and Aneltanovic going hammering Tong. Look at this. Speaking of coming into that, no, because Norfolk wants to make the move up here, but it's yellow flags. Norfolk's actually going for the move. He needs to back out of this because he's not allowed to take a move until we get onto the start-finish straight. And Norfolk Blue's just not paying attention to the yellow flags right now. This could land him with a penalty if he completes the move. And Aneltanovic, in reality, I think these two would both definitely get a penalty. He picks up a penalty anyway for corner cutting. Calvin Spencer in the background, but I think in reality these two would have had a penalty anyway for going side by side through a yellow flag zone like that. But they're still going at it hammer and tong, side by side, going into turn 1. Calvin Spencer getting a little bit of a double slipstream. Aneltanovic retains it on the outside. Is that going to be Norfolk Blue going up the inside? Then it's going to be hard and late on the brakes. Aneltanovic has been shown he's not one to be caught napping, and not that time either. Squeezes Norfolk Blue out. That's allowing Calvin Spencer during all of this to get a little bit in as well, because here's Callum right on the back of Norfolk Blue. This little trio coming into turn 4 once again. This battle ironically started under yellow flag conditions, so that's a very late move from Norfolk. Actually bangs into the side pod of Aneltanovic. A little more like an avoiding move of Norfolk missing his braking point than a move itself. He's going to try another move, and he makes contact, and he's spun Aneltanovic, and Carol J. Spencer hits the back of Norfolk with nowhere to go. Norfolk stops and lets Anno back onto the circuit, and it's all ended in tears, Valeria.
Yeah, I mean, it's thrilling that we have battles raging up and down the field, but yeah, a bit of a contact, maybe a bit too much there. But the battle for the lead is still on fire. Those 3 guys are trading each other, and KB has got the best seat in the house. He's watching how the top 2 guys are just, doing some mind games. Blizzard in P1 will want to be very focused, make no mistakes. Cliffy on the other end, he would just keep on putting the pressure on, to try and make Blizzard make a mistake, and yeah, KB is there to capitalize.
Yeah, and they went at it again immediately after that contact. Norfolk Blue got the move done, and now Anel decides to pit. Did Anel take damage, I wonder? I'm going to watch Anel's pit stop and see if that's a new front wing from the Force India boys. It's not, it's just another scheduled tyre stop. Interesting from Aneltanovic. I'm sure that one will play dividends a bit later in the race. Top 3 very, very close together once again, like you mentioned. Francis Jessica closing in on KLC as well. In terms of gaps, looks like the top 3 is our closest once again, but they're just matching each other's pace so much. No one can really make enough of a gain on each other to challenge into any of these braking zones. So it's just kind of follow the leader. But they've got 11 laps to sort this out amongst themselves. Blizzard would like 11 laps less. Maverick now pits. Will get that front wing changed once again. And Cliffy looking a bit closer to Blizzard, but unfortunately, again, looks like he's too far back. But they're going to be coming up on traffic of Aneltanovic, so I'm sure that will play a role in that one, Val, as we had a lot of guys making another stop to make this a 2-stop day. A lot of people trying to do the 1-stop today, I'd say, including the top 3, but a lot of people having to divert to the 2-stop, Val.
Yeah, I mean, they have been fighting so hard and sliding so many times, they've probably put too much stress on the tires, so they probably wore out faster than they would have expected. So that, yeah, maybe it might be a good strategy to pit 10 laps to the end to have fresh rubber for the final 10 laps. But yeah, I mean, I'm still focusing and thinking of KB. Really, he's looking the top two guys trading each other, and he has got his closest championship rival behind him, so he don't want to risk an overtake and maybe crash out or be taken out and lose important points. But on the other hand, of course, he wants to win this race. I mean, he has been winning so many times this season, he wants another win, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course, and of course a DNF for KB Killzone could bring Chazza right into the title fight. Chazza voicing his displeasure at the whole Francis Jessica and KB Killzone swap on the line mentioned in USA, and feels that might actually be a championship deciding moment. So Chazza feeling a little bit down and out, but I'm sure with a performance like today, you can just say he's given it his best shot, and no matter what happens, he will be going to the end. Cliffy within 2.5 tenths now of Blizzard. Not really close enough unless he can get a better run out of this corner. Who gets the better run? It's actually Blizzard gets the better run, so unfortunately not going to materialise on that one. Callum Spencer and Anil Tanovic are going at it hammer and tong in the background again. It's going to be Callum Spencer gets the inside line and tries to go up the inside of Anil Tanovic, gets the job done. But the top three, 5/10 of a second covering each other. But it's actually the closest battle is Anil Tanovic and Callum Spencer. So while we wait for the top three to materialise a little bit, oh, look how wide Anil Tanovic is going. Uses, oh yeah, and there's no way he wouldn't have got a penalty for how much track extending has just occurred in that Force India. So penalty given to Anil Tanovic for exceeding the track limits, and very much so. He just kept his foot in flat through the S-bend and used the entirety of the asphalt runoff area and gained himself a lot of time. Closest battle now was Ragnar and Norfolk Blue, but has increased once again. But the focus is back on the lead, Val.
Yeah, I'm currently checking the penalties, and it looks like all the three leading cars has got...
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Val. Cliffy is going around the outside of Blizzard into turn one for the lead of the race. It was big contact, and I'm pretty sure I saw a little bit of carbon fibre come off the wing of one of those cars. I'm not sure which one, but carbon fibre shatters in the air. Someone has taken wing damage from that little battle, and that could be the race-deciding incident, Val, but I will give you back to that on your penalty research. I do apologise, but crazy stuff for the lead right now.
Yeah, sure, action takes priority, that's for sure. And yeah, I was just saying, I think each of the three cars in the lead, and now probably Cliff has got 2 penalties, whereas KB and Blizzard just have 1. So it's looking pretty hard for Cliffy to win this race, but never say never. He's very close to Blizzard, and maybe, who knows, yeah, if he has clean air ahead, maybe he can be quicker and gain those 3 extra seconds before the checkered flag. Who knows? We'll see first if he can make an overtake. That is gonna be the tricky part for sure.
It's closer than it's been in a long time, but as is KB Killzone. I'm sure KB Killzone can smell blood after seeing these two bang so aggressively together, and one of them took wing damage. I still would like to know who took that wing damage. Unfortunately, I couldn't really tell, and we don't really have an inbuilt replay system in this game. Maybe that's a thing we'll get for F1 2018, as long with a weather report, because me and Paul Valerio up in here don't know what the weather's going to be. We have no idea. So for us, it's just rain for the foreseeable. KB Killzone, less than 2.5 tenths of a second behind Cliffy now. Cliffy's got a little bit of slipstream from Blizzard to pull him along to try and defend him from KB Killzone, but KB Killzone looking like it's trying to make a late move up the inside. Bit too late on that one, couldn't make the move, had to back out of it. These three are so close together, nose to tail, coming into the double right-hander of the hairpin once again. KB Killzone is pretty close to Cliffy now. Will he get a better exit? And Cliffy, no, he will not. Cliffy gets the better exit in the background too. So these guys going at it hammer and tong, but some scenarios, if Blizzard was the one who took the wing damage there, he's then got to try defend against 2 cars with better downforce than him, which is going to hurt him here in terms of the S-bends, which will of course set these guys up for the stadium section. Whereas if it was Blizzard, if it was Cliffy that took the wing damage, he's then got to try stay with that Ferrari as much as he can with that less downforce, and then try set up a move into turn 1. That's his best opportunity. But if he has got 2 penalties, like you say, he's not only got to get past, but got to gain 6 seconds as well. Blizzard goes ultra defensive on the inside there, anticipating a better run from Cliffy than he actually got. And closing into traffic, I believe, of Nibbler now. So Nibbler will play a role in this battle a little bit. We'll see how oh, look how late that is from Cliffy up the inside. It's turn 1 on Blizzard from an awful long way back. Absolute dive bomb. Blizzard was ready for that one, though. Luckily for him, that could have ended in tears, because now KB Killzone is side by side. This could be second place for Cliffy going bye-bye, because now KB Killzone looking like he can try go all the way around the outside. It's going to be a tough feat to do. We ride on a lovely side-by-side camera, because now KB Killzone has the inside line, banging wheels. Hand of rage from both of these drivers. KB Killzone has the inside for the double right-hander hairpin. He got the move done. Squeezes Cliffy out with his rear tyre. And what was a very late move from Cliffy turned out to be a position lost for him, and he now sits down in third. And of course, if he does have that wing damage full area, his work's just got a lot harder.
Yeah, I definitely tried to move and compromise his line, compromise his speed, and it wasn't pretty easy break for KB. A shame, because yeah, if you were correct in saying that Blizzard was the one with the wing damage, you know, of course with the rain and with those quick corners, it's really hard to keep the car within the white lines if you have wing damage. So Cliffy with 3 seconds penalty more than Blizzard could have just waited for him to go over the line, pick up another penalty, and they would have been back to square, and it would have been a straight fight for the race win. But now he has got much more ground to make. 6
laps to go, and Cliffy is doing some crazy stuff on the start-finish. Actually looks like he's trying to warm his tyres at 200 miles an hour behind KB Killzone. So looking like he's lost a little bit of tyre heat during that debacle and wants a bit more grip from the car, trying to warm up the tyres to get that to do so. He's in the slipstream with KB Killzone once again, coming into turn 4, but unfortunately it looks like unless he has a very late move, which he does not, he will have to wait and wait for the Haas to present an opportunity, and not doing things like that will not really help Cliffy, because he's sliding out of corners, and the rear end looking like it's not wanting to stay in check too much. We'll quickly check in on the KLC and Chaz battle, because KLC having a very good run. Both of these guys, Valeria, KLC and Chaz, are coming from the back of the grid. Well, Chaz is starting 10th and KLC coming from last with his qualifying ban. Yeah, they're battling for 4th right now, so great stuff by KLC and Chaz. One of them could arguably the driver of the day today, given how many positions they've gained, and now they're battling. They're going to have their own little battle. It's actually the closest battle we have on the circuit, because about a second separates everyone in the top 3. So we'll have to see if KLC can make a move into turn 1, but that looks like it's what he's setting up for. He pitted a lot later than Chaz Valeria, and that seemed to be why he's able to close in so much under traction. Just look how close they are.
Yeah, I was focusing on that very battle, because that could prove crucial for the championship. Of course, Chaza made an early pit stop trying to gain time on the leader. It paid dividends initially, but is now suffering from the worn tires and is falling in the clutches of the Williams. And I sense KLC is gonna try and make an overtake sooner rather than later. So let's stay on board with him for a half a lap and see. Oh, that's an opportunity. He's gonna try a late break. Chaz has got the inside line, so he could defend, but KLC has got the position. They bank wheel, but KLC now has the inside of the corner. He protects his line, pushes Chaz a little bit wide, and position gained.
Chazza and KLC have done battle before. I think it was at Suzuka, but these guys had a titan of a battle, and Chazza was not impressed with the driving standards of KLC that weekend, in his own words. So a little bit upset. Chazza known to get quite frustrated under that helmet at times, and looking like he's been able to keep this cool, calm and collected. He surely must have realised this was coming after KLC, after all, has like about 3 lap younger tyres, so he must have expected, especially under traction, there's not really much that Chazza can do. He can try get a move under slipstream maybe, but it's just, you can see straight away, Valeria, like on that helicopter cam, when KLC pushes down the throttle, he just drives away from Chazza, because Chazza's having to do so much more throttle management because his tyres are that much older. The undercut seemed like a good idea at the time, but unfortunately, I don't think he counted on such a great run from KLC today to be in the question, because about 10 laps ago, we wouldn't have even fought KLC. He was nowhere, and suddenly he's had a late charge. Great effort by him to be all the way up here, last to fourth, looking like what it could possibly be for KLC today. What a comeback.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, he kept calm, kept collected, made no mistakes, made his way up through the fields. Terrific performance from him today. We have seen that when he has bad days, he might have poor races, but when he's there, when he's in the zone, and we have a yellow flag meanwhile in sector 2 and 3.
Yeah, we're just checking for that. I believe it was just a blue flag.
But when he's in the zone, when he puts everything together, he's a really strong driver. He's among the fastest, and he's definitely showing that pace and that consistency today. Just let me mention my old teammate Ragnar, P10 for Renault. That would be a very good result if he can keep that position for the remaining 4 laps.
Sorry to interrupt you once again, but contact between Chazza and KLC in the stadium section, and I think there's going to be stern words shared between these two once again, because Chazza went up the inside on the corner before the hairpin, and KLC actually looked to me like he swerved to wheel bang purposely with Chazza to force him off that line, and Chazza in course got a bit upset with that and broke very late and forced KLC off the road. So these guys very aggressively fighting, and if they're not careful, they're going to have the stewards watching them as well as us, because it looked like that was very aggressive defending, in my opinion, from KLC. Chazza, I can imagine Chazza's going to be a little bit frustrated given these two previous histories. And it might just be a case of, we saw this with Verstappen and Vettel in the past at Mexico. Could this be like that? But Chazza and KLC, speaking of which, Chazza tries to go very late on the inside. You can see how frustrated these guys are just by how late the moves they are making on each other are. They're making moves that are barely an opportunity into dive bombs, and that says to me there's a bit of red mist in play here, because aggressive defending came immediately after from KLC, and I think if they're not careful, this could all end in tears, Valeria, and add a bit more wet from the rain as mixed with the tears here at Mexico, and it could just end all in heartbreak, but it's certainly got the elements of red mist here for me.
I'm sure the chat is gonna be on fire after this race, but yeah, you know, our stewards have to earn their salary, so yeah, some action here and there, maybe some incident to report afterwards, but we had a pretty clean race so far. I mean, no big incident, but look at how big the slides are for Chazza. As soon as he puts the throttle down, the rear of the car just slides so much. It's gonna be so hard for him to keep up the pace with KLC in those final 3 laps.
It's quite impressive that he's got much older tyres and is actually able to keep fighting the way he is with KLC. And I think the red mist is giving him a little bit of extra horsepower here, if I'm honest.
Yeah, for sure.
In that definite situation, looking for a turn 4 move. Chazza now once again in the slipstream of KLC. Are you ready for your boxing gloves, boys? Because here we go again. Look how late of a move this is from Chazza to try go around the outside. He's got that a little bit too late, and unfortunately look how late that is from Chazza. Sniffed half an opportunity and was fully prepared to make contact with KLC there. And I kind of want these guys to stop battling, because one of them's going to get taken out, I feel, and one of them's going to get a penalty for doing that, so no one's going to win. You got a nice 4th and 5th here, boys. Chazza's got to think about the title. Chazza has mentioned in the past that he thinks that KLC and co, we won't mention it too much because we're not one for conspiracy theories here, but KLC gets that all kinds of wrong. That's going to give Chazza a little bit of a run into the stadium section. Is he going to try go around the outside? No, he's not. It looks like he's trying to set up a switchback on KLC. Is that going to work? Stadium section once again. Very late move into the hairpin. There goes Chazza. Big contact, hand of rage from both of them. Now KLC feeling low. KLC's pushed him into the wall. KLC pushed Chazza into the wall there. That could be penalty worthy. I smell a lot of controversy, and I think that is definitely a steward's investigation. Whether it's a penalty or not is to be decided, but there's the red mist. I told you it was coming, Valeria.
Yeah, definitely. I do agree. We have seen that live, and that's something for the steward to look at. But in the meantime, battle for P10, the final point, Ragnar versus Kevin Jacobs. The Haas has gained a lot of time in the final few laps. I was picking up my old teammate Ragnar being in a good 10th position for Ragnar, but now looks like the Haas has got more pace, so he's gonna surely try and attack in those final 2 laps, because, you know, he's going away from this race empty-handed. He's gonna risk everything to gain that one single point.
Cliffy is closing in on KB Killerzone in the final 2 laps. KB Killerzone has gone astronomically wide through the S-bend, and that's given Cliffy the best opportunity he's had in a long time. A tenth of a second separating second and third then as we come into the stadium section. Cliffy on the outside, KB Killerzone on the inside. If Cliffy can hold it around the outside, he cannot, because KB Killerzone goes a little bit wide. Is this going to be a late move from Cliffy? No. A little bit of respect, more respect shown between these two than Chazza and KLC, that's for certain. And he's going to wait, try and make a move for the S-bend. KB Killerzone showing signs of pressure here. Cliffy has been applying the metaphorical blowtorch of pressure to the rear of that Haas for some time, and looks like it might be finally about to pay off, because he's in the slipstream, super close, less than a tenth of a second now between these two, side by side, going into turn 1. Look at that! The dummy, Daniel Ricciardo-esque, up the inside. Big contact between KB Killerzone as he tried to close the door. Ragnar's in the way now. Now Ragnar has caused this battle to kind of disintegrate. That was a Daniel Ricciardo-esque dummy up the inside for turn 1. KB Killerzone tried to cut it off as late as he could, forced Cliffy onto the grass, but now Cliffy still very much in this battle. Looks like he might try it again. He's going to try and go all the way around the outside. That's super late, and that's actually worked out for Cliffy. Phenomenal move, but now he's under pressure because KB Killerzone will have the undercut for the double right-hander hairpin. Up the inside he will go, pushes Cliffy out wide. Cliffy will have to say, oh, damn it, I have to do all of that again. But this is the last lap, so he doesn't have many opportunities left, Valeria. 2 tenths of a second separating the top 2. Now, that would have been an awesome move if Cliffy, if he could pull it off. He tried to do the Daniel Ricciardo. KB Killerzone forced off as quick as he could. But 2.5 tenths of a second as we come to the end.
Ragnar was involved in a tangle with Niblo and Kevin Jacobs fighting for P10. He found himself just spun in the middle of the leaders. Not an ideal situation, but yeah, now we got our race lead.
Oh, Ragnar!
No, I cannot believe what I just see.
I just rode on board with Cliffy there. That was a huge impact. He was trying to set up the switchback on KB and suddenly gets a huge hit from a Renault, and that cost him his opportunity, and Blizzard's in the wall across the line. He has won the race, so no need to worry on that one. But I think there'll be some more stern words between Cliffy and Ragnar in the track, and I think the stewards and yourself, Larry, are going to have a busy day tomorrow and a busy day tonight trying to calm everybody down in the chat, because we've seen a lot of controversy here today.
Definitely, yeah, it's been an eventful race for sure. Many good moves, many overtakes, and just as soon as I said we didn't have any major incidents there, final few laps and major collisions, lap car in the mix with the leaders, which is never ideal. We've seen a couple of times before this season, but yeah, we got, as usual, something to investigate. We got great action once again, and yet another race win for Blizzard.
Yeah, Blizzard really settling in nice and comfortable. He was able to drive away while Cliffy and KB battled with each other the whole race. Certainly a lot of controversy. The chat has had their say on that incident with KLC and Chazza, Sonic X1 and Zach, commentator for NORL in Monaco this season, has said that he believes that was a very unsafe piece of driving from KLC. I'm sure the stewards will be looking into that. Kevin Jacob picks up a 10-second time penalty on the final lap, and that's for something in the stadium. He hasn't finished the line yet, so I'm sure the stewards will take a look at that if he decides to protest it. But Val, thank you so much for joining me in the box today. It's been an incredible set of racing. For your first time, I'm sure these guys have surely given you all the action they could for your first time, and I'm sure this will give you a new perspective in the incident reviews as well, seeing it all live. But thank you on behalf of the GamingNow team for joining us here today.
Thanks a lot, Toby. That's been great. I need to catch my breath now. Heart beating went high at some stages, so yeah, it was good fun. Thanks for your job, for your time, and for your commentary. It has been a very good experience. I hope we can replicate that very soon.
I'm sure we can. and we'll know of the future. There is Blizzard, on the podium. The man under the spotlight, of course, KLC, I was about to say, will be in the spotlight as well. A very swift exit from Chazza suggests to me that he's not in the best of moods, and we'll have to see how this one disintegrates. Keep your eyes tuned on the Nemesis Online Racing social platforms on Twitter and Facebook, because I'm sure you're going to be seeing some reviews about this race coming up on your timelines very soon. Blizzard wins the race from P2 on the grid. A lot of the top guys have penalties. Bloody hell, who is that with 15 seconds of penalties? Is that KLC in 4th place? He actually loses 4th place then, look. He lost 4th place to Chazza because of his penalties across the line. But nevertheless, I don't think Chazza's very impressed with the driving, even if he did get the position on penalties. A lot of penalties in terms of 26 seconds of penalties for Ragnar in the Renault in 13th. But that has been the 2018... the 2018 F1 2017 championship. That's confusing to say. Round 18. That's been a great race. Great commentary from Valeria. Thank you so much once again, Valeria, for joining me in the box. And just before we go off air, any final words you would like to say ahead of round 19?
Well, the championship is surely heading KB direction, but anything can happen. A disconnection, a DNF, a lapped car taking you out, anything can happen. You have seen those past few races, so never say never. Chazza still got a strong chance, but yeah, probably next week in Brazil we might have a new name in our Hall of Fame. We'll see. Tune into GamingNow channel to find out next Sunday.
Thank you so much. Do not miss the penultimate round then of the NORL F1 2017 Championship. Round 19 comes live at you from Brazil at 8:30 GMT time on the Gaming Now channel on YouTube. Do not miss it. There's going to be plenty more controversy and commentary for the last 2 races of this season. Thank you ever so much to everyone watching today. Thank you for the racers for providing us, and once again, thank you to Valeria for joining me in the comms box. So until next time at Brazil, I've been Toby, that's been Valeria, and good night, and enjoy the rest of your evening.